I know some of you are going to say I'm being too picky about this, but I don't trust dealerships anymore. I mean, I barely trusted them years ago. Now I don't even trust them to do the most basic things. I have 2 newer vehicles and 2 mistakes that were just made by a dealership because I would never do this to my own vehicle. So let's dive in. I'm going to show you in the garage what happened to my 2025 Camry and my 2026 Ram 1500. And you know what's really irritating about this? I've actually had neighbors come up to my house and say, hey, you know, you can pay someone to do that as I'm doing work on my vehicle or my lawn. And I usually just look at them and say, yeah, but I'd rather it be done right. So take a look at this image. This is the Hurricane oil fill. You see the mark it's at now about 2 o'clock. That is about 7 quarts. So I've done multiple oil changes. I know exactly where this mark's gonna land. So we are home from the dealer. I just showed you on the dash, the dealer underfilled it by like half a quart. It's not the end of the world. In the manual, it says that's fine, but if I add another half quart, I'm gonna be up to full. I personally just like to get things a little bit more accurate. When I've filled these Rams, if anybody has a Hurricane out there, and this is why I do my own maintenance, you know, 7.5 quarts with the filter will put you exactly where you need to be and you won't get error codes. So I think what's happening is these dealerships are just hauling ass through the service. They do it as fast as possible. Maybe they're not draining as much like I would drain if I'm doing an oil change. And then they're being safe and putting in only 7 quarts because they don't want people to get overfill messages. So one thing that'll happen on these trucks is if you overfill them even a little bit, you'll start getting pop-ups on the dash that says your oil's overfilled. So I think that's what they're trying to avoid, is staying below that, staying still within range. So they're just putting in 7 quarts. That's my guess anyway. We're gonna put another 1/4 quart in, and I'll show you the reset procedure on how to reset that oil level in this. All right, so to reset the oil life on these Rams, you basically need to, you know, put in the amount of oil that you think. This is the problem without having a dipstick. We're going to start the engine, heat the oil up to about 180 degrees. We're gonna look at the dash. It'll tell you what the oil temperature is. Then we're gonna turn it off, and then we're gonna get our foot off the brake, press the run button and let it sit for 5 minutes. It basically recalibrates what the oil level is after it's been sitting for about 5 minutes. That's the procedure. I only put in probably just under half a quart, so we'll see if this moves. So we're still sitting there, which is expected because it hasn't been reset yet. All right, we've got it up to 180 degrees. 181, we're gonna shut it off. I'm gonna open the door, just try to get a reset in here. Now, just gonna turn that on. I'm gonna let it sit for 5 minutes. Set timer for 5 minutes. All right, we are back. So check this out. I got 3 minutes left on my 5-minute timer. So the oil reset did work, went from that 230 mark on up. I put a little less than half a quart in it. So when you're doing this, you can always drain some if you go over, but I would say it's going to be half a quart or less. If you're on that mark in a Hurricane, you should probably add a little bit of oil, get it up to the recommended fill amount. So that's the process, and that is why I do my own maintenance. It's stupid that they don't have a dipstick in these things, but hey, there you go. Takes 15 minutes to add a half a quart and make sure it's the proper amount. And here's another reason why I don't take my car to dealerships to do the work. So just changed the oil on the 2025 Camry. I drain the oil to see how much oil comes out. I always like making sure that the dealerships are doing their job and that it's not burning oil. So check this out. This is a 5-quart jug, and we are all the way up to here. So not only did I notice that, you know, I mean, that is a lot of oil. So here's the 4-quart mark. It's supposed to have 4.4 quarts with the filter. So I'm guessing it's gonna be somewhere in this range is what I should have seen out of it. Full quart overfilled, or maybe 3/4 quart overfilled. So if I had to guess, the Toyota dealership put a larger oil filter on it. They had the wrong oil capacity specification. So my daughter's car has been running, she took it to the Toyota dealer for Toyota Care. She's been running maybe over a quart of oil too much in that engine, could have caused damage. So I'm documenting this, and who knows, we're gonna kind of do an oil test on this, see if we have any problems. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues. You know, usually they have a little bit of variance, a little play in there, but I mean, it's just shoddy work. You can't even trust an oil change anymore from a Toyota dealership. It's ridiculous. This is why I do my own maintenance. You've seen people not put, you know, drain rear diffs and not put fluid back in them. Like I trust myself more than I trust them anymore. So now between The Ram Hurricane and my daughter's Camry that was here changing oil. Those are two mistakes by factory dealers. One is a Ram dealer, Prestige Ram in Longmont. The other one is Stapp Interstate Toyota. Both made mistakes. They underfilled the Ram, they overfilled the Camry. So yeah, that's what you get when you pay people to do it. Because if it's not their car, they will not care about it as much as you care. So look, this video isn't about saying that every dealership technician is incompetent. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are very good at what you do. You take pride in what you do. It's just not always the norm. I hope this video shows some people that, hey, mistakes can happen even at the biggest dealerships. A big Toyota dealership in my area that everybody trusts, and it's a 2025 Camry, not really that difficult. It actually has a dipstick. It's really not that difficult to check. The oil filter that was installed on it is actually not the oil filter that they would sell me if I walked in person. So I think it was a mistake by one of their oil techs. The Ram was underfilled. And look, a lot of guys online talk about this as well. They get their trucks back and they have it underfilled and then they end up adding oil. It's just an annoyance. It feels a little bit like incompetence, maybe cost cutting, but I think they're actually just trying to avoid messages on the dash on the Ram side so that they don't get those overfill messages. Obviously, I'm not avoiding dealerships altogether. I want it on the Carfax. If I trade in the car, it looks better to have oil changes on the Carfax, even though I just dump the oil and do it at home myself. It's still a necessary thing. I think the lesson here is to just verify what the dealership does. And in the case of my Camry, my daughter took it to that service dealership. I didn't verify it. And I had to teach her, hey, you need to verify this, pull the dipstick, look at this next time, because it could cause damage, especially overfilling. Underfilling, I'm not as worried about if it's up to 7 quarts. The overfill really bugged me. Just remember, nobody, and I mean nobody, cares as much about your vehicle as you do. It's just like if someone gets a rental, why do you think rental cars are always beat up? Because that's not the vehicle that someone owns. But when they get home, do they go flooring it when it's cold? No, people don't usually do that to their own vehicles. The same goes for dealership maintenance. A lot of these techs are, based on time. So they get paid based on the time it's supposed to take for one of these tasks to get done. That's how the deal goes. And that's why the system's broken. That's why you see so many things online about techs are quitting. They're put in a tough position. The dealerships are making a lot of money off of this, and they're not really paying the techs well. And their whole structure is not incentivized to do better work or quality work. And that's the root problem here. The Car Care Nut and others talk about this. The root cause is that the incentive structure, it does not incentivize good work, period. There's just no other way to explain it. I hope you guys found this useful. Double check the work from the dealerships if you aren't going to do it at home yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching.